better fix my hair. Look at me. I look ridiculous. I always look ridiculous. Just more than usual. So this week on Sailing Semantis, I'm just going to run through some of the projects that are going to be coming up this year and bring you up to date a little bit on where I'm at and also where we're going in the future. Stay tuned to see a sneak peek of the new home for Semantis in the fall of 2023. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, how you doing today? Well, my computer died, my old laptop. I had a couple more videos that I was going to be editing on that. My IT guy is going to be coming sometime this week to help me get that data back so I can move it onto my bigger desktop that I bought for video editing. So I'm going to give you just an update of what's going on, some projects that are going to be coming up soon. So just a quick overview of a couple projects coming down the pipeline and a little sneak peek toward the end of the video of where the boat's going. A little bit of footage of my trip down there, and we'll be back to boat projects next week. So this is what I'm going to be working on. There's a video 2 weeks ago, I think, maybe 3 weeks ago, of my thoughts on the head. So this is the pan. You can see I've carved the edge back. Here's a template and some numbers that outlines the back edge of the tub. So that's the piece that I got to fill in. I got some fresh biaxial 1708, and I was kind of going back and forth on how to do this, whether I should just replace the whole pan or salvage what I've got here and add to it. So I'm not sure which way I'm going to go. So that's one of the projects that's coming up. I'll be working on that over the course of this week. Another one, I picked up a TIG welder, AC/DC TIG, 110, 220 welding table. It's the Bimini top frame right here, that dark navy blue thing right there in the background. That's the top, which is in good shape. It's a little too wide for my boat. I'm going to be cutting this down, fitting it in place. That's my Dodger top back there. So I'm going to be building eventually a hardtop Bimini to hold the solar panels, which are right back there in the corner as well. Get all this stuff built, ready to go on the boat. This thing, which is kind of ridiculous, came all in pieces, but it's pretty decent 316 stainless, 1.25 inch diameter. It's a little thinner walled than I'd like, but it feels pretty solid. 87 inches wide and 43 inches high. So between that to fabricating these 3 bows, and I've got some extra scrap stainless out here, an old push bit. Some of that I'll use because it's good straight sections, and some of it I'll use the scrap to learn on, practice TIG welding. Boy, do I have some big stuff coming up. Building a skeg, rebuilding the rudder, the keel bolt joint between the hull and the keel. Grind some of that out, fill it in with 5200 before I can even paint the bottom. Redo the decks on top, pull everything, refiberglass in the decks both sides, refitting new hardware for the cutter rig. Take care of as much of that as I can this summer because I would really love to have this boat headed south by the time the locks close mid-October in the Champlain Canal. To pick these up, Lumar 42 self-tailers. My boat had no self-tailing winches on it, just the old style. They could be re-chromed. I think I am going to buff them back down to the bronze and just have a little bit of bronze on the boat. Those are a pretty good deal. 2 and 3. So 3 of them, all Schaefer blocks. All the hardware on the boat is Schaefer, except for the Lumar winches. If I'm lucky, July or August to get some mantis in the water. By the time I do, I should have this bimini done. I should have some solar on the roof. I should have the skeg and rudder rebuilt to be able to do most of the work floating on the mooring ball in its new home. Spring is coming, finally. Well, not yet. So I'm over here at the boat. I'm going to use the stainless along with the bimini frame that I picked up and build a top that will be a solar arch, something to carry the panels that I picked up. My cockpit is kind of an odd shape, so because of that, my stanchions they're not all lined up in a straight line. It's going to make it a little trickier to be able to measure and space all this stuff out to make the 3-bow bimini top work, as well as the arch. And it looks like I might need one more bow. I'm thinking, we'll see. I've got a couple of different ideas on how I might build this, but I got all my numbers. I don't know if you can see that right there on the back of this envelope. Just came over and did some measuring, and I'll show you what I was measuring and why. All right, so this is the cockpit. Here are my stanchions. 1, 2, 3, and it goes around a corner there. So I have I got 8 stanchion posts. Really, there's just these 2 stanchion posts. There are 3 on either side of the push pit, and it's 2 separate pieces, stern ladder in the middle, and the single stanchion post up front. The one on the starboard side is braced. The one on the port side is not braced, but you can see the little pad there. It was designed to be braced, and for some reason that never happened. Anyway, I will brace it. I think I can use a single bow on the top of this for the front edge. So I measure the distance between those posts, and now those 2 are 112 3/4 inches, and then 51 inches back we have this angle for the front of the push pit, and then a vertical post. I was thinking about using the arch and basically continuing these lines straight up, create 2 bows. But that's what I was thinking. If I could ram those 2 up there. This is 1-inch tubing here. The bimini top is 7/8, but the arch that I bought is 1.25 316 stainless. So I think I can cut this with a grinder and sleeve it directly down over here. Same thing there. And then I'll either put that back in if this radius isn't a problem, or I will weld in a fresh piece, a little section. So this is interesting here. Stanchion post is 6 or 8 inches ahead of the aft corner of the transom, and my transom is not a flat plane, so that's a little odd. So Dodger will cover the front. There will be a gap here somewhere so I can look up and see the sails. And then I'm thinking from this stanchion back will be bimini top. I've got a couple options. The bimini top, actually, this umbrella is pretty good, so I could at least temporarily use it. I was thinking about building a Nitacore top, so we'll get into that if I do that. Maybe I'll use this umbrella for now and then swap to the Nitacore in a couple of years. We'll see. Build a hard bimini top. I want a complete enclosure. Vinyl windows in case it's windy and cold. No seam netting. They're really fine stuff for mosquitoes. Probably Simbrella or something up to the top of the stanchions for a little privacy when you're sitting down here in the cockpit at anchor or something like that. So I want the breeze to blow through, but I want to be able to block it. I want to keep the mosquitoes out. I'm going to do some form of wind vane steering. Not 100% sure what yet, but it likely is going to have to go right where that stern ladder is. That's another whole situation. There is a way to install a wind vane that kind of swings out of the way, so you can access the stern ladder, or maybe just delete the stern ladder. I don't know. Move it midship somewhere. Lots of question marks. I'm trying to visualize how this Dodger must look. I should probably go home and assemble it, take a look at it. Dodger comes back to here, a little bit of a tight spot, if I was to move the gate and the lifelines forward, then I could actually continue this handrail on top. Probably both of them. It would bring it this far forward, the whole push plate assembly. Structurally, that seems like a really good idea. There's a lot of things back here fighting for the space. Wind vane steering, stern ladder. I would like to do a nice teak swim platform off of the stern down there. If I hang davits off of here and incorporate them into the structure. With this curved transom, it's going to be kind of weird with the davits, you know, and with the swim platform too. I'm not sure how far out they would stick. Probably 9 or 10 inches of curve in the transom. If the davits stuck out far enough to clear that, it's got to lift high enough so that the wind vane does what it's supposed to do. If I'm trying to have the dinghy up, sailboats are compromises, and I'm trying to make the best choices here. A lot of liveaboard cruising boats out there that, I mean, you see them, you go, oh yeah, that's a liveaboard. It looks lived on. It's got, you know, stuff that doesn't look like it was in the original design sort of attached. I don't want to do that. I'm trying to make this look like it's maybe possible that the original manufacturer designed it with what I'm building here. Do you have any insight, any thoughts? I'd love to hear it. Good evening, guys. I'm on a trip here. I'm not going to get real specific with where I'm going, but I'm looking for the future home of Semantis, myself, to live aboard. It's about 3.5 hours from where I live currently, where my kids are, so I want to stay close enough that I can come back every weekend and spend time with my kids, but I would much rather be on the salt and in a climate that's just a little bit more moderate. It doesn't get quite so cold. Lake Champlain, where Semantis is now, freezes, and there's not a lot of sailing going on in the winter. And where I'm heading, Long Island Sound, south of Cape Cod. Lots of stuff nearby, lots of sailing. I should be able to live there fairly comfortably on this 35-foot sailboat. It's the 4th of March 2023. I'm not going to tell you exactly where I'm going. I'm going to save that surprise for a future video. Started this trip in a snowstorm heading south. Things have cleared up, the roads are nice, and I am going to be happy to show you the area where I'm going and talk a little bit more about my future plans. Good morning, guys. I spent 2 days down here, but I think I am going to move my boat down to this neighborhood. I like it a lot. It's a little more urban than where I was, suburban, I guess. Give you a look around. So this marina over here is the one I'm looking at. It is a old-time mom and pop's place, and I really like it. It is just like Chipman Point, where I am on Lake Champlain. Just good old-fashioned the way it used to be, and there are so few of those left. And there's another one, Safe Harbor, right over there. I talked to both of them. Safe Harbor is about $1,100 more per year. Definitely a little higher end. You know, everything's really nice. Better amenities. So it might be worth the extra $100. But you're also going to have ritzy neighbors, and you know, I like just regular blue collar folks. The mom and pop place can get me in right now. They got 4 balls available. Safe Harbor, I'm on a list. So I really think I prefer the mom and pop place. I talked to the owner on the phone. Here's the pier. Looking out to sea, out that way. To the south, this is all brackish water here. Pretty cool spot. I'm happy with it. It's very protected. We're fairly far up river here. Beach. There's the channel going out. And that's after slack high, outgoing tide. That would take you out to sea nicely. So I just drove all the way out to the end.
Let's not go too fast and wreck it, baby, 'cause I'm having too much fun.